I'm going to do another quickie for you. Well, it's fairly quick, and that is an ant pattern, a flying ant. In this country, our river fishermen and stillwater anglers don't really carry ant patterns. But in America, it's just the opposite. Just about every American angler has got ant patterns in his fly box, sometimes loads of them. And I've discovered over the last few years that a nice ant pattern in black or a rusty cinnamony brown colour is a great pattern to have in 14s and 16s and 18s. Quite frankly, they copy very well any of the small black terrestrials, such as black gnats, reed smuts, in bigger sizes, hawthorn, any manner of things that drop onto the water surface in summer. A black ant pattern copies them perfectly. So I'm going to tie this on a size 14. This is one of the new partridge show hold upwing dries. And what I like about it is its long spear point and the fact that it's fine wire, very, very quick penetration. So, hook in, on with my thread. I'm using black power silk, and I'm going to trap it behind the shank, wind forward, and then come back on myself to catch down that tag. Tie down to the end of the shank, and now for the abdomen I'm going to take off this. This is a piece of 2mm black close cell foam, readily available from any tackle shop. It's common fly tie material is this, but this is quite thin stuff, so don't get the thick 1/4 of an inch thick. You want this 2mm, 2 or 3mm is fine. Take off a strip about, it's not tablets of stone, but about 3mm wide, a nice parallel strip. And you want about so much, which is, I don't know, 1.25 inches, 1.5 say. Foam's a lovely medium for fly tying. So now, in the end, just cut a little tag like that. Just take the corners off. Now, before you tie in, you must remember that this is all going to be tied on top of the shank. And the last thing you want is a fly that rolls round the hook. So, I'm a great believer in using any modern material that I can lay my hands on. And I'm pretty sure that if this stuff, okay, it's super glue, if this stuff had been available in the days of Halford and Skews and Frank Sawyer, they'd have all used it. Make no mistake about it. Same with instant dyeing sticks, these marker pens. They'd use them as well. Alfred had written a book about these. So, bring your tying thread back to about just short of centre shank position. Lay this on top and catch it in by that little tag. Then come along and in fairly open turns, tie back now to the bend. In fact, you can just go a tad round the bend. Crush the foam down, make 2 or 3 wraps, and then follow the spiral back down until you get to the front of the abdomen again and tie down. And then all you do is fold it over. Don't pull it, don't stretch it, just pull it over so that it's completely relaxed. All you're doing is folding it over. And I do a cross hand manoeuvre here. I hold with me bobbin hand, reach behind, bring your thread round, make a nice straight alignment and pull down and make this nice little bulbous ant abdomen. As simple as that. Now that won't roll, that's fixed. Now lift it up, then bring your tying thread underneath, rest the thread right in the shoulders of the eye, right there in the neck. Just fold it down, circle round and tie down there. Compress, compress. Now this part, which is going to be the head and the pedicle, I'm going to compress down now to make the narrow connection between abdomen and head that you get on an ant, which is called the pedicle. So again, this material is very user friendly. So with repeated passes I can crush this down to make it reduce in diameter. And at that point there, that's like to say about halfway between that point there, which is just behind the eye, and here, the front of the abdomen, park your thread. And in there I'm going to tie the wing. Now my wing is this material. This is John Betts Zing, or similar to John Betts Zing. It's polypropylene string actually. And you cut a piece off and open it out. And it opens out into something like about 1 inch wide. It's got this milkiness to it. And you can see that pulling sideways, it tears very readily. You can see all the polypropylene fibres on it. But when you hold it this way and pull, it's extremely strong. I doubt if I could break that. So there's a single piece now, loose fibre there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slide my scissor blade up there and take off a piece about 1/8 of an inch wide, or maybe just less. So just snip up there, run the blade up there. So there's my wing material. And now sit that underneath my thread, lift up, and under bobbin tension, I sit that on across the shank like that at about 30 degrees and tie down. And then I go that way with another thread wrap, and then take that and fold that back and tie that down, this time swinging it towards yourself, and tie that down. So there's your two nice semi-upright wings. You're sloping back at about 45 degrees, nicely V'd when you're viewing it on top. And just park the thread just in front of the wing, and I'm ready now to tie in my hackle. This is a black cape. It's a Hoffman, obviously a genetic. Lovely short fibres. Check the fibre length before you pluck it out by just doing the time-honoured thing of wrapping it round like that, and that's just about right. Tie the hackle in. I'm not going to bother stripping any fibres off. Tie the hackle in on its edge. Catch it in like that. Figure 8 round it. If it rotates round a little bit, don't worry about it, as long as it's insecure. Pull on it to make it sure it's secure. And when you're sure it's secure, you can then nip off the waste, but leave a little stump. Never trim hackles off flush. Now, if it was shorter, I'd hook on my hackle pliers, but with this, it's quite long enough for me to wrap on by hand. So I hold the hackle, starting somewhere near the base of the wing. I simply wind on in touching turns, coming towards the hook eye. So wind on. If I make 3 turns, maybe 4 at most, that's ample. Drop the thread over and tie down. And again, and again. And then search in with your blade and knock the tip off. Spin up the bobbin again. Take your foam back, circle around it. Don't pull, just let it fold back under no tension. Circle round with your thread, crush the foam down to make a nice, neat, round, spherical head. Check your head length. If you think your head's a little bit too large, there's no harm in it. Just drop tension off, come further forward with your thread, further towards the eye of the hook, until you've got the right head size, and that's about right. Don't make the head bigger than the abdomen. And then simply go around and nick off the waist. And then all you have to do now is come straight in with a 2-finger whip finish right there in the neck of the ant. 3 or 4 thread wraps, hold them together, pull through, pull up tight, go in with your scissors, crop off. Two last things to do now before the ant's complete. One is to crop off the wing to length. So hold the two wings together. Remember, it's a flying ant, the wings are quite long. Certainly they extend beyond the end of the abdomen. And then I suppose you'll want to shape them, which is not necessary because fish don't give a damn. But like me, you'll want to go around and just take the corners off and make it look pretty. So there's your little queen ant, black garden ant. And then the last thing of all, touch of the old head cement. Use this thin runny stuff, this fly tight, this non-toxic. Go in, little droplet there, just at the back of the bonds, the back of the head. See it suck in with capillary action. If you want to do one last thing, which I sometimes do, is just take your scissors and just take a little V out of the bottom, as I do with a lot of my dry flies, just so it'll sit nice and level. Just sit that on my hand, and there's your flying ant. Half an hour's time, you could have that on your leader and into a fish, and they eat them. No mistake about that.